We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Otep, I am that I am. Some call me Haru, your modern monk, your cannabis fitness strategist. Back at it again, here with you with another episode, number 137, with Mexico City, with my special guest today, Dr. Boz Moreno. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right, bro. How are you?
I'm great. Feeling good. Full belly. Getting it in. I've been enjoying this, I guess, more tasteful food. You know, it's not as preserved and all these other different ingredients that we're going to be talking about a little bit today. How long have you been in Mexico?
A little over 10 years.
Okay, yeah. And we have obviously had some past interviews over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So, but today is more. I'm more grateful because I'm actually sitting down with a brother and actually dialoguing and connecting and hooking it up. So how have you been adjusting to this particular culture? I know it's a whole new environment. I mean, you've been around for a minute, but how has the adjustment been? I mean, you have had some time to go back to the USA, as we would call it. Tell us a little bit about that, about your journey.
Well, my journey here, it's interesting because when I came, I was married, so I had somebody telling me how to maneuver, how to do things, how to see things, and some of that was good, some of it was bad, you know, but I eventually got to be me. Once I was divorced, of course, that allowed me to be me, that allowed me to explore the culture differently, to understand the language, and I know that it's almost impossible to understand the culture without the language.
For sure.
You gotta have the language in order to understand the culture. This is what I've experienced, this is what I know. So based on that, you know, it hasn't been easy, but it hasn't been hard. And because I had to learn the culture, I had to learn the language, that's been a plus for me. Those have been advantages for me, those have helped me, and that's how I'm able to help anybody that's in my circle or cipher that would actually need my assistance, you know, because those are stories or experiments or experiences that I can share with them. So that helps.
Yeah, and I know, I mean, with your past saying that, I mean, you have had growing up, you kind of had that kind of understanding of what's going on, living in California, living in certain places that Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters are on to. And I know you talked about in the past, and even on your podcast show, what's your podcast show name?
Tea and Tofu.
Yes.
No, it's Tofu and Tea.
Tofu and Tea. and you talk about some of those, you know, those transitions, whatnot. And it was interesting, too, because I knew you had some Spanish prior to coming out here. How has that been, like, getting the understanding of really articulating and really understanding the language? Because I know that's a challenge right now I'm facing. Because I really want to take it on and really learn the culture, learn you know, how to navigate a little bit more out here, and just being with you on some of your, you know, house visits and stuff, and kind of seeing how those, you know, how you get down is kind of interesting too. Because I know it's like even how you just, it's automatic now. You know what I'm saying? It's automatic now. And I mean, you even referring to me in the language in some cases, you know. So how has that been your mindset? And that's really what I want to.
Yeah, well, my Spanish, when I arrived in Mexico, my Spanish was terrible. I was thinking that because I could easily, you know, switch in America, I could speak a little Spanish, speak a little English, and the person that was speaking with me was in the same mind, you know, so it was easier. But once I got here and found out that I had to communicate in Spanish, I had to learn the tenses, I had to learn the verbs, I had to learn how to pronounce, I had to learn my vowels and things of that nature. I had to learn how to think in Spanish. I had to learn how to listen to accents and listen to words, listen to the speed of pronunciation and things of that nature. Things that would normally deter a person, I had to learn to embrace. And still now, with all the, you know, all these years later, you know, I'm still learning. I'm still learning Spanish. You know, so I do get to speak English sometimes whenever I'm speaking by phone or Yeah, normally by phone, you know, and when I have visitors such as yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's not something that I get to speak on a regular or normal basis, you know. So, yeah, Spanish has become a lot easier for me, but I don't consider myself to be fluent. I know that I have lots to learn. As a matter of fact, I constantly speak with my youngest daughter and my wife about improving my Spanish. You know?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm not taking it for granted. I know that it's a language that if I should embrace and speak better, that my career in Mexico would do even better.
And speaking on that, that kind of takes me into another question I got. Like, what made you make the choice to come out here, Mexico? I mean, you could have went any other place, keep it
Right.
real with you, Colombia, Brazil, or any other
Right.
Spanish-speaking country. What made you
Yeah.
want to come here, per se?
Well, when I had my practice in Atlanta, I was involved in some extracurricular activities. I eventually went behind the wall, did some time, something I consider to be more of my abduction, you know. But I did some time, and before that time was up, I would speak with one of my aunts, and she kept saying, "Hey, you may need to go to Puerto Rico." And then I remember my mother, when people would ask my mother where I was, she would always tell them I was in Mexico.
Okay.
You know, so ironically, I ended up meeting a woman, and of course, she came to America. We married in America, but she wanted to be back home with her family in Mexico City, being that, you know, most Mexicans, if not Latinos, are more family oriented. So I respect that, and she told me, being that I was involved in holistic, alternative, complementary medicine, that it would be easier for me to have a career in Mexico. So I went for it. I got here and I found out that she wasn't lying. And it was so much easier for me in Mexico to actually get involved with medicine. So I came here with a doctorate, and that doctorate opened doors for me. It allowed me to enter into capacitation type classes with other doctors, medical doctors, other medical practitioners. So that was good for me. That made things a lot easier, you know.
For sure.
So of course those classes were in Spanish, so I had to learn how to really listen. Yeah, how to really listen. And me, I knew that I needed to apply and do whatever it was that I was learning, whether the class was a day, 2 days, or a week, or 6 months. I always knew that I had to put into practice what it is that I was learning. The days when whenever I was not in class, you know. So, yeah, in terms of Spanish, my Spanish is coming along. I am learning the culture. I'm learning to embrace the foods. I'm learning to appreciate. Like I said, when I was married, I couldn't do all that. So really, I would say that out of my 10 years, I really have like 3 years of Spanish.
Okay.
And like I said, and now I'm learning to really listen. You know, but before, like I tell anybody, anytime I talk about listening and learning, I'm always going to say, you know, even though we're taught to, you know, see with our eyes and hear with our ears, something I learned behind the wall was, hey, you have to learn to hear with your eyes and see with your ears. And now that I live in Mexico, that's so important.
Yeah, for sure. And that brings me to another point. I mean, I know you've been out here for a minute, and it's interesting that because when we met back in 2012, well, we met in 2009 officially.
We met in
2009,
2007. There was a law class online dealing with sovereignty. Yeah, it was
Right. But physically meeting you was actually a vegan. Yeah, vegan. You was a vegan. You was a vegan.
Yeah.
You was living a vegan lifestyle, and you've been living it for about what,
43 years? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting now seeing you now eating meat and kind of me personally like adjusting to that's kind of not necessarily extreme because I understand you as a holistic practitioner. Understanding how things kind of work on a scientific side of it, because you was breaking that down a little bit, the difference between scientific and medical. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How the differences when we really put things in perspective. So how has that been for you since you kind of transferred, or I guess, transferred into eating meat now, coming from a...
I've been eating meat since my birthday in May, the beginning of May. And it's been a good thing. It's something that I needed. It undoubtedly, it saved my life.
For sure.
You know, so I'm saying, and with my experiences, me being introduced and also initiated into African medicine, I needed to listen, and I had been told that I was sick. And because I was sick, which I didn't want to accept when I was told, but once I got back to Mexico City and I started to live and go through life, I started experiencing internal bleeding, and I was having bouts where mucus was just leaving my body, and it was an ugly situation. So I started to listen, I started to meditate and look, and plus I did a bioanalysis to find out what was wrong with my body. We wanted to make some corrections. And I definitely didn't want to be frightened by anyone outside of my particular circle. I wanted to make sure that I understood what was going on with my body, how I could fix it. And I wasn't trying to be arrogant to the point where I didn't want to hear anybody else. I just didn't want to deal with the idea of being frightened by someone else's opinion.
Got you. Especially as a doctor. I mean, that understanding. I mean, because I know society tends to, we look for, some cases we look for permission, but then some cases we look at people as authority. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, I'm this is what my, I guess, position. Yeah. So this is what I stand on, and this is me, boom, 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 and I don't need your opinion. And, we tend to get in that mindset. I
don't see myself as an authority. One of the reasons that I'm just now starting the podcast that I can barely remember the name of, Tofu and Tea. The reason that I finally started one, because I didn't realize I was shy, but I'm still a little shy. But I don't have a problem talking to people, especially when it's concerning their health.
Yes.
Now, having said that, whenever I'm helping someone with their particular ailment or ailments, first I'm looking for permission from that person, and then once I have that, then I'm looking for ways that I can actually help them to help themselves.
Sure.
So I don't have to go into what I know is healing with a God complex.
Yes.
So I don't really see myself as an authority. I've never really had time to do videos and do talk shows and things of that nature. Now I'm getting to where I can do those things. Basically, I want to be able to promote my own products and help some other people, the team, as you know, to be able to, actually promote and sell the products that we're putting out for people to better their lives, So I can't overemphasize the fact that I don't see myself as an authority. Am I learned? Do I know what I'm doing? Am I open to what nature has to offer me? Yeah. I mean, I really want to improve as an individual. I want to improve as a doctor, as a physician, but I also want to improve as a friend, as a husband, as a father, and things of that nature as well, So I want to be the best, possible, so it takes constant studying. And Mexico is good for that, because here I'm able to go to the type of medical classes that I need to attend. Each year I take a class.
Sure.
It's not a requirement. Just recently I was licensed in Mexico, which is a good thing.
Yes.
And I like that. I'm very appreciative of it. I'm very proud of it, because like I said, it took 10 years, for it to happen.
No doubt.
It took some studying, it took listening and enduring lots of lies, taking classes that didn't do anything, wouldn't do anything, couldn't do anything, and weren't necessary. You know what I'm saying? So finally, I have that license. Now, does the license make me worthy of congratulations or anything? Nah. The license just lets me know that, hey, look, if the authorities give me any type of attention, I have proof that I'm allowed to do what it is that I'm doing.
Indeed. And it's been I've been enjoying the process with you. I mean, you know, because I have been seeing your growth throughout the years. You know what I'm saying? Since we've been in contact, you know, even from the stem cells, the apoptosin, the bee venom, and certain elements like that, and really explaining to people, look, this brother is he's making it happen. He's healing people, or he's allowing himself to be able to be a guide for those to come in and heal themselves. You know.
Yeah, I like to think of it as I'm helping them to help themselves. You know, so I'm not trying to, even though I know that I've received credit for tough cases, cancer cases, AIDS, HIV, lupus, lots of lupus, diabetes. You know, I get my credit, but it's more like word of mouth.
Sure. And you see that. I'm witnessing that already.
Yeah. So it's not one of those things where, you know, they've done interviews and with top radio and TV personalities. No, I haven't had any of that. And not only that, I've always been the type of physician / doctor that clients and patients could trust.
Yes.
And I've had a lot of clientele that didn't want to be exposed, didn't want people to know their particular situation. But everybody comes to you and everybody's telling you, hey, look, if you can help me with this, I have lots of people that need your help. And I'm saying it's really selfish when you listen to it and think about the fact that somebody thinks that, help me first and then I'm going to introduce you to all these other people. I'm saying that's crazy. If they're in dire need of help, wouldn't you want to bring them to me now while you're getting help?
For sure.
So it's almost like a bribe. It's almost like saying, hey, if you help me, then you get this. And I understand that, you know, because a lot of doctors do what they do what they know. But I'm constantly studying. I'm constantly meditating. I'm constantly looking and asking, not only for my ancestors, you know, but the universe as well to just guide me and assist me. You know, so that's the difference.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I'm a witness. I've been seeing your progress, and I mean, you've been helping me so much tremendously as far as my health, my fitness, certain elements. Like, matter of fact, we're going to go right into this conversation about the oxalates. Some of those information that you kind of exposed to me, because I'm a vegetarian / vegan. I would say more of a hybrid. I really don't like using those titles anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's kind of like a slap in the face. And I think where I come from, I'm thinking of more lifestyle, living the most prosperous life I can, the most healthiest life I can. That's where I'm at with it. I don't claim it as a diet or this, that, and the third. I'm looking at living a more prosperous life, a healthy life, you know what I'm saying, abundant life. Now, on that note, oxalates. Educate us a little bit about that a little bit.
Without getting too heavily involved in talking about this particular compound, oxalate, you know, oxalates are normally found in some of your leafy greens. You know, they're found in fruits, they're found in vegetables, but it's hard to talk about just oxalates because I have to also mention that there are phytates. And then when you start talking about seeds and beans, you're talking about lectin, you know, so we're talking about chemicals that are there, that nature has put there, so that these particular plants, vegetables, fruits, seeds, legumes can protect themselves.
Yes.
You know, so when you start talking about vegetarian, even though we would like think that's a person that eats vegetable, it comes from Latin vegetus for healthy.
Yes.
But it's really a contradiction because you start to find out as you eat more and more fruits and vegetables that you're not as healthy as you think. And then too, after eating something and experiencing hiccups or belching or burping or passing gas or itching, you know, when you start looking at these things, these are indications that you're eating things that you should not be eating.
Nice.
You know, but because we've been told it is healthy, you think that eventually you'll get used to it. And then you can even go to a homeopath that could possibly assist you in getting rid of that particular allergy or getting your body to accept that particular allergy. Now you don't have these burping, the hiccups, the belching, the passing gas. You don't have that now. So it's not a smart thing to do in terms of homeopathic medicine, but it could be remedied. That's basically what I'm saying.
Okay.
So when we start talking about healthy, I no longer see vegetarianism as healthy, veganism as healthy, or so-called raw foodist as healthy, or even plant-based as healthy. You know, so the meatless diet, it could work, but you'd have to understand and know the limitations to what it is that you can eat.
Gotcha.
You know, so then it would be a very boring diet.
Yeah, like most things, when you really think about it, most things are pretty boring. You know, when you're talking about don't take me wrong. I mean, obviously, it give you a more prosperous life, but when you think about it, things are pretty boring when you really put it in a perspective.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you use the word prosperous or prosperity. I just can no longer see a vegetarian or meatless diet that way, simply because we're using food with everything.
Everything.
We use food with sex. We use food. I mean, if we're not putting the food on her or she on us. I mean, I'm saying, man, we're using food with everything from funerals to weddings to baby showers and baptisms. We're using food.
Our social connection.
We know, we know that when we go to an event, we're going to eat a little bit before we go. Then we're going to eat as much as we can when we get there. You know what I'm saying? But if we get word that somebody that's preparing something that we don't want, we're going to try to eat more at home before we get to where we're going, you know. And then if we get there and don't enjoy it, then we get home, we're going to eat even more. You know, so I'm saying, but food is associated with everything. So food has become more of an entertainment. And based on that, we've created problems for ourselves, you know. So when I think about vegans and vegetarians, and even when I think about a carnivore-based diet, I think about people that are socially, you know, unfriendly.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard because you have a diet that makes it uncomfortable to really enjoy whatever it is that you were supposed to enjoy. You know, you leave home thinking that, man, I'm about to do something to her that she's never had done. She's already had done to her first when she agreed to it. But anyway, you decide, man, I'm about to do this. You know, and next thing you know, you two are arguing over the fact that you can't find anything to eat, or you think that it's cute because you said, well, I'm a vegan, you know, and I've been like this for, 35 years.
Yeah, for
and,
sure.
You know, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. And you may think that it's discipline, and she may think that it's annoying.
Yes.
You know, so you both see it differently, and next thing you know, what you thought you were going to get, you don't get.
Yeah.
And even if you did get it, you probably wouldn't enjoy it because she now has gas.
Yeah, because like speaking of, even with that, emotional food is based on emotional too. I mean, that's why we have a lot of obese and gluttony and all these other elements that come in. And even with the stress levels and anxiety, all them things are based on, a lot of people based on food.
Yeah.
And the food, you know what I'm saying? Sugars, high in sugars, and the lactates and everything, and all the rest of that stuff that we don't really think about, because even like the processed food, what I did notice out here, like the fruit and stuff tastes better.
Oh, no,
literally, it tastes better.
It does.
Tastes cleaner. And I mean, and it's interesting too how, because I know I'm a witness to it. I'm not saying I got all my, ducks in a row and this and that, and I'm eating clean and what they think is clean. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, I eat this processed stuff. I mean, Beyond Meat it tastes delicious, right? To me, but when you think about it, all the chemicals and stuff like that going on in the processed food, the stuff that, look, for example, you were saying like they don't even put milk in the refrigerator.
Yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. Come on. I mean, think about this.
Or eggs.
Milk and eggs. And you think about, these are like the breakfast foods in America. Right. Them are the breakfast foods in America. So people want to keep that as long as they can, keep that moving, keep it good. You know what I'm saying? How long is the eggs going to last up in there? How long is the milk going to last? Till it so-called expires. But all these chemicals that's been put in it. It was interesting, too, when I kind of overheard you about talking about the certain milks. you know,
Right.
how I know a lot of people come from other countries, come to America, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go buy this milk, but the milk is so bad,
Right.
where it's causing other issues. You know what I'm saying? So educate us a little bit about combinations of foods, because we just put in all types of stuff, especially with our fast food nation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm that's worldly, but my point is all these different combinations that's causing these different food allergies, because we're coming up with, you seeing a lot of different allergies from the foods,
Right.
but we don't know.
Yeah. Well, let me go back to what I was saying about the oxalates and about vegetarianism. And even though my diet is based on stem cells and stem cell reproduction or stem cell regeneration, or the rebuilding of stem cells or the regrowing of stem cells. So let's look at it like that. So from that perspective, basically a person with me, they're going to be on more of a meat-based diet.
Sure.
But it's not necessarily a carnivore-based diet, because I use such things as, I want them to cook their meat in butter or in ghee.
Okay.
I do allow them to drink milk or heavy cream.
Okay.
Heavy cream would be more precise. I do allow that. I want them to have whole milk. If they can get it raw, by all means do so. Or if they can get kefir milk, that would work as well.
The best.
So so that is my approach to it. But I'm trying to eliminate a lot of the vegetables, a lot of the fruits,
Okay.
grains,
Okay.
seeds, and all the things that a person may perceive to be as healthy.
Yeah, right. right.
So that's what I have to eliminate. And once I do that, it's easier for me to add something such as coconut water.
Sure.
But I don't want them drinking sodas. I don't want them drinking different juices.
There it is. Ooh.
Because, it's easy for a person to eat a half an orange or an orange, but it's not okay for them to have 10 oranges in a glass of orange juice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing, And speaking of oranges, of course, we could start to talk about inflammation, but I'll go to the most common thing that people think about when they think about oranges, and that may be vitamin C.
Okay.
But then when we start talking about vitamin C, we got to talk about oxalates again, because that vitamin C has to be broken down.
Okay.
And as it's being broken down, more oxalates are being created. So
Wow.
and that's just simplifying it,
Okay.
So
Okay.
these are some of the things that we're up against. So again, I can't say that a vegetarian or a vegan diet is healthy. I can say that most people that take that route, they've chosen to do so because they can't digest the meat, or because they have some political view of the killing of animals. Even though they leave the dog at home for 12 hours during the day, but some of them like leather.
Yeah. Right.
Not a belt or a jacket or pants, whips. So
for
yeah,
sure.
so yeah, they have their preferences.
Sure.
So I'm saying, there are so many things that we need to consider when we start talking about a so-called healthy diet. And I remember me as a vegetarian. I really thought that it would make me cleaner.
Yeah.
And then I had this experience with this woman, and she says, "Hey, I would really like to taste it."
Wow.
I'm like, you want to taste this?
Rated
Yes.
R part right here. Yeah.
I really want. And I'm like, okay. And when she did, she's like, yuck.
Oh,
You
wow.
know? She said, "Man, I really expected it to taste better." And me, I wasn't embarrassed or shocked, because I had already wanted to know the answer myself.
Nice. Yeah.
So I was just really anticipating the answer, but she's just the first one to really tell me. And this was recently, about what, before I got into this marriage. Let's see, this was what, 3 years ago? Yeah, about three years ago, yeah. So yeah, the vegetarian diet, in terms of cleansing, like for a 7-day period, 21-day period,
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful thing. But after that, no. So when we start talking about cleansing, we also need to talk about bioavailability. If we talk about bioavailability, if these people or persons choosing to use the type of diet that I have, or even a carnivore-based diet, they'll find out about bioavailability.
Okay.
Therefore, when they're eating meat, they'll find out that most of it will be used by the body. They'll be able to get the nutrients, the minerals that their body needs, which means that now they're producing less waste.
Okay.
So they're going to have less fecal matter and less odor because the body is utilizing the meat the way that it should be used.
Interesting. Yeah, and even talking about that, we even talked about, I had mentioned or commented earlier in the week about, how the scarcity of certain animals, what that energy or that chemical that's produced in them, do we actually attract that? Do we actually take that on as we eat that particular meat or beef or whatever that is? Would that actually be, you know what I'm saying? That's,
if you're speaking in terms of adrenaline,
what that's actually producing within that.
I'm definitely going to say that yes, but I'm saying, would that adrenaline, while being eaten, could it have a direct or cause a direct, say, response
or effect on?
Or effect, yeah. I mean, that's to be argued because when I was in prison, they were doing experiments in California with inmates. They were sending some to particular prisons and feeding them vegetarian diets.
Okay.
And of course, they thought it was working. The reason it worked so well is because a lot of those inmates were afraid to be at some of the prisons because California was so violent.
Got you.
So they knew that, hey, I got to be on my best behavior.
Yeah.
So they suppressed. I'm pretty sure if we go back and see those studies and we look at the rate of recidivism, we'll probably find that a lot of them end up going back to prison because a lot of things that they were actually suppressing in prison, they got to express on the outside.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm willing to guarantee that the recidivism rate was higher amongst those type prisons. Now, me being a vegan, vegetarian, going into prison, I mean, I thought I deserved to be at one of those type prisons. But the funny thing is, I think I learned to be aggressive, and I learned how to harness that inner warrior. So, I don't know, I probably would have been stronger and wilder and more demanding at such a prison.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's probably good that I didn't go. But I know that once I was out of prison, there's a lot that I need to know and learn about myself.
And I remember you delivering, a lot of our conversations. I mean, how you was even referring to some of the vegans, how they respond so negative. Their energy is like really high. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I hate this. I can't stand that. You meat eaters, and I'm clowning, but
right.
But at the same time, it does, because you see a lot of vegans kind of in that mindset where it's like a overtaken, like we're in control, but then at the same time, it's like unhealthy, cancer.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that really, because I think it is that energy level.
Yeah,
too,
I remember when I got out of prison, and my friends told me about one of my friends' mother having cancer, and I couldn't deal with it. I was like, I don't believe it. I said, there's no way, as a vegetarian, that she has cancer. I didn't believe it. And then as I grew and learned more about the case, and I learned more about vegetarianism, and I started dating, because once I got out of prison, there were more women that were vegan and vegetarian.
Yes.
And there were more crazy women. So I mean, and that's the thing. I joke about that a lot. Because I just find a lot of this particular woman to be malnourished.
Yeah, right.
And it's not because she's not eating well. It's because the vegetables and the plants that she's been exposed to aren't as healthy as she would like to think. Yes, there are lots of nutrients in those plants,
sure,
in those fruits, in those vegetables, some of those grains. But the thing is, there are more anti-nutrients. You know what I'm saying?
Things they don't talk about.
Right. So the thing is, you can tell me how good it is for you, but I'll say, so if you watch me place a piece of fecal matter in a glass of water, and I remove it and you can no longer see it or smell it, would you be willing to drink it?
Mm.
You know, most of your audience.
Yeah, no,
say
hell no.
Yeah, but there's a couple that would
Yeah,
say,
yeah, right.
They're like, yeah, man, if you come from her, yeah, I would. You know, but yeah. So that's what you have to look at. Or if I were to give you a glass of milk and put one drop of urine in it, would you be willing to drink it? You know, so you can tell me that one overrides the other, but I'm saying, man, I know there's more milk than there is urine.
Yeah, right.
But I'm saying I'm not willing to drink it.
You're right.
You know, I know and I saw, and I even removed the fecal matter.
Yes.
But I'm not willing to drink the water.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying? So there are things like that, you know. So I'm saying because of that, and I'm exercising the ability to be sane, I'm saying that I wouldn't want to drink either one of those examples. You know, and now that I know what I know about particular fruits and vegetables, I'm saying I know what I should and should not eat.
Gotcha.
You know, and just because I'm at a party or just because I'm hungry, do I still subject myself to that? And that's what it comes down to.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah,
So,
right. Because it's definitely,
You know,
it's
like,
everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I mean, it's hard to go out and eat. It's hard to go out and eat as a carnivore because you're going to get sides, you know, with it.
Sure.
And it's hard to eat as a vegetarian or vegan because a lot of people really don't understand it, even though they have menus that mention a vegetarian this or a vegetarian that.
Sure.
And then if you really know what it is, you know, it's not going to be, you know, suitable. And then if a vegan reads it, I mean, he or she has the option of saying, "Nah, I don't like it. I can't eat this," or whatever. You know, so no.
The clarity, because I mean, like you were saying earlier, I mean, we got these so-called professional doctors, yada yada yada. They talking one side of the coin. They're not really giving you the whole picture. That's been another thing I noticed too. Like I was saying earlier about some of these doctors I'm following on YouTube or whatever else resources they never talk about certain chemicals that are in the foods that are really killing us. But they may even say, well, it's so low and, you know, it's so,
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's so low that it don't affect you, even though it does affect you because you're overeating. Most of us are overeating.
Right, we're overeating. And, okay, now, that really is a whole nother subject. First of all, if we start talking about oxalates or any other chemicals, the more of a particular item that we eat, the more of that particular chemical we start to accumulate.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So it's no longer one of that, it's more of that. You know, so how much can your body handle? Do you have the appropriate enzymes to help you get rid of that particular item?
Chemical,
element,
yeah.
Do you have it? You know?
Right.
So that's important. You know, another thing is like when we think about vegans and vegetarians and plant-based type persons, you know, why are they out of shape?
True.
Why are most of them out of shape? Why are most of them aging fast? Why are most of them losing their hair or their teeth? Why are most of them
the grade,
or expanded waistline? You know, you know. I mean, so there's so many things that we talk about. Why does that happen? And why is it that most of them have an addiction to sugar?
Whew, that's a big one.
Yeah. So
give
why,
me my brownies.
You know, I know the answer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but I'm saying So that's what they need to answer. You know, because you know, you can eat all the tomato soup you want, all the French fries you want. All the grilled cheese sandwiches.
Tear them up.
But I'm saying, but eventually you have to ask, is this truly what I want to eat? And especially when you consider why you got involved with that particular diet.
Gotcha.
Did you do it for religious purposes? Did you do it because you couldn't digest meat? Did you do it because you thought you were going to be more spiritual? You know? Did you do it because you're going to be hanging out in the streets selling drugs for a long time and you figure, hey, I can't eat any meat?
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Hey,
man, let me have your bread and mayonnaise. So it was one of those things there, you know. So that's what we have to look at. But yeah.
No, that's on point. That's on point. I mean, and there's so much other elements to that. Not just that, and that's the thing about this podcast. You Are the Gym podcast. We really want to give you an understanding of what's going on, the awareness. That's basically what I'm talking about, or what
Yeah.
we're talking about here, the awareness of what's going on. Like I said, I mean, your whole life has changed tremendously in the last 10 years you've been here.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, almost a whole 180 degrees.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
It has. You know,
Yeah.
matter of fact, had I been thinking like I am now, I likely wouldn't be divorced.
Mm.
You know, but I came to this country, man, very Americanized, very closed to what Mexico had to offer me.
Yes.
The greatest gift I feel that Mexico had to offer me, I mean, one I definitely would say is my youngest daughter. I mean, I'm very appreciative of her. I mean, I'm motivated by her presence. You know,
For sure.
she's constantly correcting my Spanish, and it's not because she loves me; it's because she doesn't want to be embarrassed. You know, so yeah, you know, so I mean, I'm appreciative of that. But in terms of healing, in terms of medicine, and what I've been exposed to, just with a PhD, for me to be able to go into some of the, you know, better schools and learn with some of the so-called better doctors, you know, and I mean, and learn things, how to do small surgeries and how to heal and how to use stem cells, how to do stem cell implants, you know, so I'm appreciative of that. How to actually understand acupuncture and that meridians throughout the body, you know,
Yes.
how to do facelifts, butt lifts.
Yeah, indeed.
You know, when I look at all those type of things, I'm like, man, yeah, I'm happy. I mean, you got a chance to go around with me and see some of the things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
You got to meet some of the people that I interact with.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
got exposure to Mexico from a different level because, of course, I don't just work online, but I actually have patients. You got to visit my clinic, or no, my practice. It's not my clinic; it's my practice. You know, so you got to go there. You saw the classroom, you saw the offices that we have.
Yes, sir.
You know, so
Sure.
so for me to come from the type of life that I had, and I, you know, I'll say that my parents did a good job. You know,
Big
me
time.
mentioning going to prison or being abducted, yeah, it had to happen. It needed to happen.
Part
And I
of the
think-
process, yeah.
Yeah, and that's part, and I can't deny that part of my life.
Sure,
It's
sure.
who I am. It's what made me. You know, and now that I'm accepting it, and now that I can speak about it, it makes it a lot easier to live. You know, so yeah, so Mexico's been wonderful in terms of molding my career and introducing me to the different modalities, and to I think that being introduced to and also being initiated into African medicine, it makes my experience in Mexico even easier.
Got you.
You know, because now I can take more of that esoteric knowledge and couple it with what it is that I know as a physician and doctor.
Indeed.
You know, so yeah, so it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, big time, big time. And it's been a beautiful experience just being here with you, kind of sharing some of the moments with you.
I'm glad you've enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
You know, you
Because
beat quite
this
a
has
bit,
been in
man,
the
so-
long, this has been in the works for a long time, literally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just,
So,
yeah. And I'm very thankful and grateful for you just being
Yeah, you
out
came
here,
at the right
somebody.
time.
Yeah,
You
and
came
just
at the
being.
right time. I can't say that it would have been like this had you done it soon, because now, I mean, my position changed, my way of seeing things, my way of seeing what would be considered a team. You know, because I was very individualistic, I was very Americanized.
Like a lot of us,
Yeah.
because we the trust factor. A lot of us are
Yeah.
not, you know, we don't have that trust factor anymore because it's
Right.
like we've been shiced, you know, people been, you know, getting us, especially as we grow up, especially as a black male growing up in America. I mean, we everything's against us. I mean, a lot of people don't talk about that too, but the black man definitely got some issues. You know what I mean? We got some issues we got to overcome just within our families alone. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think going forward, I would be able to say that everything is against us.
Okay.
Only because I know that I have the tools that are necessary,
Sure.
you know, to maneuver,
Got you.
you know, throughout life. And for me to accept life it is. I mean, there is no mistake in me being, you know, a black man. You know, so evidently I negotiated this.
No doubt, no doubt.
Because of that, you know, I want to accept it and I want to go forward with that, you know. So I'm saying, whatever it is that I attract, you know, throughout this journey, you know, I want to know that I'm able to deal with them.
Sure.
You know, so
Agreed.
we're going to get challenged. You know, and the best part about that is knowing that you're ready for the challenge.
Indeed, that's a good point. That's what we probably just. So where can people get at you? Where, if they want to get in contact with you, they want to know what type of products you know, as far as you pushing, whatnot, where the availability is, how would they get in contact with you, bro?
Yeah, so they can always go to methodmoreno.xyz. That's methodmoreno.xyz. They can also go to drbozmoreno.com. That's BAZMORENO.com. And I'm thinking, because we're getting, Metmore Academy, METMOR Academy. They can also go there if they're interested in learning or trying to pursue a career in holistic, as a holistic practitioner.
Indeed.
We'll say it like that. That's be the easiest way.
Okay.
And they can find me like that. You know, if they're looking for someone because they have a case that's tough for other doctors to handle, they can always contact me to see if me and my team can deal with whatever it is that they're up against. They could always consider coming to Mexico. There's a hotel about half of a kilometer from our practice where they can stay and be close to us. You know, so we have things like that. But that's it. I mean, they can Google me. They should be able to find some information on me.
And you can always go to youarethegymlive.com, where I have information, prior to the information there. Consultants, how much for a consultation?
If they do it online, I charge $135.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
For
Because I'm sure a lot of
consultation.
people would definitely be interested in, a lot more people would be definitely interested in that. Like I said, we're here live. I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, no doubt. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and I thank you for, you know, just the gratitude, even inviting me out here.
Hey, bro.
in the land.
I'm glad you took that part, man.
In the land of our brothers and sisters in the Mexico area, or Mexico landmass, you know.
The Republic of
yeah,
Mexico.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, appreciate you, brother.
Hey, bro, I appreciate you.
You have a great, awesome day.
You too, man.
Okay.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.